Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it.
Oh, come on. If I put that one.
Don't take them off. Leave them on.
Oh, I got me.
You can leave them on. Oh, now they can't. Oh, my God.
Are they magnetic?
Yeah.
Oh, are they? Oh, I didn't realize they were magnetic.
Except this one's sticker.
Kelly's trying to ruin his microphone. Why can't you put a sticker on it like we have, like me and Bruce have?
I did, but I put it on the end.
So I hope you never have to get in there to adjust things.
Yeah, take it off. Put it on the.
It's in my studio.
Well, it is your microphone. You can say that it's your microphone.
No, it's not my mic.
It is your microphone. I gave it to you. You know, it's company. Well, the company gave it to you because even after you quit,
he didn't get the company memo on.
How do I sound?
You sound great now that you've taken those magnets off, and it's not all.
I have to have it in the position.
It's good. It's a good thing it's not video because you got that microphone half had in your face. There,
yeah, exactly.
Well, the reason is
why can you see why can the three of us see each other, but we can't see you for the microphone? And see, hey Bruce, can you see my sticker there?
I can see your sticker there.
Yeah, and I can see.
I got a sticker too.
You got a sticker too.
How do I sound now?
You sounded great.
Fantastic.
Before.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
You can see
better.
him now.
Yeah,
you can hear him and see him.
Yeah,
do my impression of Scott. Hello.
Yeah. Now, there's a Scott here. I'm over here.
Is he away or is he?
Well,
he's in
Scott?
Puerto Rico. He's in Puerto Rico.
Oh, Scott's too busy. Scott's too busy. He's so busy he can't be on the.
He's a busy man.
Is he building floating houses in Puerto Rico? So
he's taken like 2 cruises back to back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's so busy. And then he'll try to give me some.
He's busy cruising.
Yeah, and then he tries to give you some dog and pony thing about. Well, it's like I got to have vacation, and it's like, yeah, we all take vacation, Scott. Yeah. It's like, bro, this is a good podcast. We're 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
2 minutes in, and what do we discuss? The meaning of
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I was telling these guys the night this was recorded, there's a good shot. You may see northern lights in the upper half of the U.S. and lower Canada.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I'll go look. Yeah, we got a clear night here.
Yeah, surprisingly, I was like, usually for those who are playing at home, the area where Lionel live is noted if there's any great celestial event going on, it'll be cloudy.
Yes. There's
a lunar eclipse. Yeah, great shot.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a meteorite shower. It's cloudy.
Yeah, that's like going out for a rocket launch in Florida. Like half the time it's cloudy in the wintertime. But when you see them, holy moly, are they cool? They're very cool when you see them. Do you have any rocket?
We can actually see. NASA has a facility in Wallops Island, Virginia, and we can actually see. They don't launch from there very often, but when they do, we can. I mean, it's nothing like being in Florida, but you can see the rocket going up.
Yeah, here
it's really far away.
Yeah, here it's like we're about. I think we're about, as the crow flies, I think we're like 60 miles from the launch site, 60 to 70 miles from the launch site.
So I'm a couple 100 miles probably from Wallops Island, but you can still see it.
Yeah, well, you could, yeah. I got a haircut. Obviously, I needed to keep the receipt.
They did a nice job. You got the
I know. It's like, holy moly. That's a beaut, that one.
Did the guy try to make you stylish again?
Yeah. Well, it actually looks pretty good when he's done. He just has this thing about doing it so short, and it's kind of like.
Did you go back? You still going to Matt, or did you change?
Oh yeah, no, I'm still going to Matt. Yeah, I like Matt a lot, and he's getting better. I mean, he's getting better. We just got to let it grow out a bit.
Yeah, so his old man's in rough shape.
Actually, he's beyond rough shape now.
So is he gone? So is Matt practicing on your hair?
Yeah, Matt's practicing. No, Matt's a very experienced barber, but they're very, they do a lot of hip stuff. Yeah. They're not used to an old guy coming in with dark hair and so much of it.
We had when I was
I'm easy. I'm the number 2 all over.
And obviously, Brad, that's not going to be a problem for you when you're 70.
No, well, it's not a problem for me when I'm 55. That's almost all gone now.
When I was a kid, Dad would take me to the barber shop, and the father was old school, and the son was modern. And the father would get upset when I said, "No, I want the son to do my hair."
What was I going to say? I was going to say something now. Oh yeah, Kelly, what kind of Grecian formula do you use on your hair?
I don't use any.
Oh yes, you do. Come on.
No, I don't.
You can't possibly have hair that's that color.
Yep.
Look at the two of us. The two of us are like dashingly handsome at our age.
And we're only a year apart.
What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at, Williamson?
When you're talking about dashing, I was thinking of dashing camper. And maybe they do haircuts too.
Yeah,
I'm laughing in agreement.
Oh yeah, is that what that is?
You notice everybody the crew here's got a beard.
Yeah, but I only got half of one because I actually have a bald spot right here. And it's like anytime I try to grow a real beard, it's like there's always this bald spot right here.
I have that too, like right in here. If I try, I've never really. But like if during hunting season, a lot of times if I'm out in the woods, I don't shave for a few days and get scruffy, but there's a bare spot right there.
Yeah.
Brad looks like, do you dye your hair and beard orange so you're safety orange?
No, I just wear a hat, an orange hat.
Brad looks like a Confederate general.
I used
just a second, guys.
Okay. What's happening now? Is he leaving the show? We're 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the show.
I know.
And it's like now he's off talking to his wife.
Can we say hello?
Yeah, can we say hello? Hi, Missy. How are you? He's turned off the microphone and everything. Yeah. He doesn't want to hear us. Hello. Hi, Missy.
Hi.
How are you,
Miss? The guys
want
to say hi to you. She's going back upstairs.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
She wants to have a campfire, so I got to go light that when we're done here.
Okay.
What you don't trust her with matches and food?
Yeah, just take a can of gasoline.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just take a can of gasoline. All right. So this is actually we've been on the air for 7 minutes.
Wow.
And this is the first episode of Drayton Blackgrove and Chris Wehman. But I've kind of called it the Drayton Blackgrove episode. Only because we're talking to him a lot, and Chris was there, and Chris is part of the crew anyway. So this is episode 239, Drayton Blackgrove.
Right.
Delay and Block production.
That sounds like a movie star's name, Drayton Blackgrove.
I know, doesn't it though?
A Quinn Martin production.
Yeah. He plays Inspector Zachary Smithers. I can't come up with a good one. Zachary was good. Inspector Zachary Maryville. Inspector Zachary Maryville with the Dallas Fort Worth police. Or I guess there's probably two different. Now let's pick Sacramento. No, Albuquerque. He's with the Albuquerque Police Department. He's Inspector Zachary Maryville with the Albuquerque Police Department. Been with the force for 22 years.
And I bet he at one point investigated the infamous Walter White.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. He was all part of that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then I suggest you tread lightly.
Indeed.
So this is a good episode. It's Drayton Blackgrove with our buddy Chris Wehman. It's our first episode with Drayton. It's really good. Who all was there? Were you there, Kelly?
I think I was.
What about you, Brad? Were you there?
Yep, I was there.
What about you, Bruce?
I don't remember.
Me neither. Yeah,
I do so many of these things, and
exactly.
To these, I don't remember where I've been or done what. But if I was there, it was great. If I wasn't there, it was great when I heard it.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It took Chris Adams a while, but he would send me a message. Oh, I love what you said on today's podcast at the 13-minute mark. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'm out.
and then he would tell you which podcast it was, and you say, "Yep, still can't tell."
Nothing. I got nothing.
It is when you do it frequently. It is hard to remember.
Well, sure.
I know for certain I was there for the second one, but I'm pretty sure I was there for number one also.
Had I not edited this thing like a week ago, then I would remember if you were on it or not. But since then I've listened to about 4 other different ones, so I have no other. And sometimes I get a bunch loaded up on my phone, and if I'm like listening to Uncle Dave, but I'm not, and I'm in the wrong mood, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go just listen to somebody else. And that's kind of what I was doing this week. I was listening to this one, and then I go listen to that one for a while, and then I listen to this one. And a lot of times I'll be driving down the highway or something to Toronto. Or I was gonna say something to you guys too that was really interesting today. Can't remember what it was.
Oh, there you go. And that's how interesting it was, folks.
It was. I was looking at my
when it comes to your mind at 3 a.m, just send us a text. We'll get back.
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll jump back in the studio to hear the story.
Yeah. I have a Toronto. I don't know where I got it from, but I have a Toronto Maple Leafs flag with all the Stanley Cup years on it, and I was thinking about. It's in my workshop, and I was looking at it, and I was thinking about the T. The second T is silent, Toronto.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking of some other word which would have been funny to talk about on the podcast, where I would have said the T is silent, but now it's completely gone.
Huh.
Anyways, all right, let's go listen to this episode, and then we'll come back.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Subway chimes go.
Check.
Let's get at it.
Check. Microphone check.
Check.
Mike.
Check. Yeah, Mike.
Mike's
check
not
1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, check 1 2. Yeah. Hey, let's hear you, Brad.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I have the microphone positioned right under my nose as I was instructed.
And just because you go to look at something or move doesn't mean you can start talking like and then start sounding like that.
I ordered one of those halos things that they put when they need to immobilize your neck in the hospital. So I just have to have it
on your microphone to that.
Yeah.
I just have to have it bolted to my head. So
there's a thing too you can get. It's called a booster, which I got for Scooter's microphone, because he does do this frequently where he's talking and then he gets farther away from the microphone. So when I sent him to get his equipment, which he didn't buy the first time out, he bought something that they recommended. And I went, no, go back to the store and buy what I asked you to buy. Yeah. And then part of that was a booster.
Okay.
So that you can be farther away. But I'm not sure. You should see if you can get a booster for that microphone, because I'm not familiar with that particular microphone setup.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
Yeah, check on
Scott's booster way we can hear him sanding and scraping and
exactly.
stuff.
It adds ambiance.
It adds something.
The other popular game. What is Scott working on now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It adds something. I'm not sure what it adds.
Yeah, it adds something. Yes.
So I'm not sure how this podcast is going to go. We've had other podcasts in recently where they were different.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Different.
Yeah, let's just say they were different. They weren't horrible. Yeah. Audio was good. The person seemed like a very nice person, a very caring person, very lovely person. But the podcast was different.
Mm.
Yeah.
Somehow Henry Mancini got involved.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
And which confused the hell out of me.
We enjoyed talking about the Pink Panther.
Yeah. So anyways, a few somehow, somewhere along the way, a while ago. So tonight in the studio we have the modeler simply known as Kelly.
Hello.
Who I'm sure our guest has heard of. We have Bruce the Mailboy.
That's me.
We have Brad.
Hello, everyone.
We have our buddy Chris Wehman.
Good evening.
And,
Mr. Snacks.
Snacks. Yeah, we have Snacks Wehman. Actually, Chris, I have for hundreds of years ago, decades ago, the pro at my golf course, which was a private golf course. Not that I'm boasting. It's part of the story. And we were trying to we turned the course into a private golf course, but some of the people that wanted to make it private didn't really understand what the implications of having a private golf course was, because it's kind of a hoity-toity thing. And the pro we had was, let's say he was less than, he didn't really understand what being a professional golfer at a private golf course was all about.
So he's more like a semi-private guy.
No, he was more like a pain in the butt guy.
Oh, okay.
And anyways, his nickname was Snacks. He was a large man, and his nickname was Snacks.
Correlation there somewhere, maybe?
Yeah. Because he couldn't do without the snacks. He would give, and he had this thing where he'd give you a free lesson, if you signed up for lessons, but it was always the same thing. Here, change your grip. And then he always, on his golf cart, he always had an open bag of potato chips.
There you go.
Yeah.
That sounds like me. I mean, I'm more excited about my own snacks when I have operating sessions than anybody else, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now that I've upped my game.
Yeah, and what exactly do your snacks consist of?
Oh, here we go. Oh, a variety of salty and sweet chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
EL fudge, popcorn or pretzels, various carbonated beverages, Dr. Pepper, Diet Coke, water, lukewarm water. But we do have a big tub of ice and glasses. So if you want your lukewarm water to have a nice chill, that's an option that's available to you as well. Well, I've just been tired of being worn down about it. I had to up my snack game.
Well, we weren't trying to wear you down. We were just pointing out some obvious
deficiencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making a deficiency list.
Yeah, deficiency list. Yeah, think of it as a deficiency list.
Tell me all the things that are wrong with me. Got it. Thank you.
Opportunities for self-improvement, right?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, it was opportunities for self-improvement.
Hey, continuous improvement.
Yeah. Exactly, just like Conrail.
Continuing education professionals.
What's Conrail's the quality continuous improvement or something?
Continuous quality improvement. Conrail quality.
There you go. So anyways, everybody is familiar with the four gentlemen I introduced. Chris Wehman, Bruce the Mailboy, the modeler simply known as Kelly, and really what are one of our newest additions, Stubby Williamson.
Very glad to be a recent addition.
Okay, there you go. So anyways, some time ago, I'm very hyper about this one particular fact. In fact, I was telling this story to my wife today about this one particular fellow, Chris, that she hasn't heard me talk about a lot, but he's been on the podcast. You've probably been on the podcast, almost 8, 9, closing in on a dozen times, eh?
Yeah, I'd say over the last couple of years. Yep.
Yeah. And I was saying he does these great videos, and they've been produced by Green Frog Productions. And I said, I've been seeing Green Frog Production videos and train shows forever and ever. And it turned out, because what I was doing is I was describing to her the way another podcast that we recently had recorded had gone. And I was saying, tonight we're talking to Chris Wehman. And I said, this is a guy that he likes to talk, but he's also very interested in knowing what you want to talk about. I said, it's very, very similar to Uncle Dave Abeley's. So I said, it's fun to have Chris on the show. And then I said, it turned out a few weeks ago, there's another young fellow, Drayton Blackgrove, who makes beautiful railfan videos. And turns out these two guys know each other. So I said, that's what our podcast is about tonight. We're going to bring together on the air for the first time, and what I know and what I believe is the first time in recorded history, is going to be a podcast featuring our very own Chris Wehman, Snacks Wehman, and Drayton Blackgrove, who has this spectacular YouTube video channel called Delay and Block. Has that pretty much covered it?
This is the first time.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Yeah, I can tell.
I'm always excited.
Yeah. You're a little too excited.
I know.
That's
I'll try to tone it down. I'll try to be a little more boring.
No, I don't think you should. I think you should just go with it. So why don't you bring Drayton into the studio now, and we will get on with the program.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, Drayton, come on in.
All right. Hey, Chris, thanks. Thank you all for having me here tonight. It's really great to be with Modeler's Life. It's great.
Okay. And I don't know if you heard earlier, Drayton, when we were in the studio, but this was not my idea. It was really Chris's idea. And
It was.
And when he suggested it, I said, "Do we gotta?"
You just couldn't find anybody better. That's
so we got nobody else to interview, so let's get Drayton on the line.
I was going to say something else too that was pretty interesting. I wonder what it was. Can't have been that good. Anyways, Drayton. So let's introduce Drayton to the world. Like he is there are many, many people on the planet that are well aware of who Drayton is, but I'm not sure the whole AML nation is aware of Drayton or what he does or who he is or all of these sorts of things. So, first off, you have a spectacular YouTube channel called Delay and Block.
Yes, I do. Everybody always asks me about the name, why I picked that. And
hang on, I think I know it.
Yeah, what do you think it is, Lionel?
Because I've watched several of your videos, and if I remember correctly, your grandmother used to take you out rail fanning so that you could make videos as a youngster. 15, I believe, 14, 15 years old.
Yep.
And your initials are DB, Drayton Blackgrove. And there is actually a thing in Michigan where you're originally from. There's at some stations, there's a sign or there's some sort of railroad affiliation with Delay and Block.
Yeah, you got it. I'm impressed. Yes, when I was growing up in South Central Michigan, my grandmother used to take me to the train station in Jackson, Michigan. And at the end of the station platform, there are these yellow signs that had the initials DIB on them. And when I was really little, I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 years old, I used to think that those signs were for me. I thought that the railroad, they knew that I liked trains. The Amtrak agent, he knew me and my grandma, and I just thought they put those signs up for me. And I kind of got out of trains for a little while. I was a little bit of a boat nerd. I was into the Titanic and Edmund Fitzgerald and all that good stuff. And when I was about 13, I kind of got back into it. My grandfather on my mother's side, he took me to Train Fest in Owasso in 2009, which I cannot believe that was like 15 years ago. But I went to that, and that just kind of got me really excited about trains again because I had all these tapes when I was really little that my grandparents and my mom and dad bought me, and the Southern Pacific Daylight was in there, and 765, and to see those locomotives in person was just incredible. So I got really excited about it, and I started learning about my family. My mom's side of the family they're all from Birmingham, Alabama. My dad's side of the family, they're from Southern Indiana. And long story short, both of my grandparents ended up in Michigan for work. And that's how my parents met each other. So our family, our immediate family, are the only Michiganders. Everybody else lives other places. But I grew up hearing stories about my family members, my ancestors who worked for the railroad. And my great-grandfather in particular, on my mom's side, his name was Earl Bruce. And my grandfather, who passed in 2020, I miss him a whole lot. He used to tell me stories about his dad. And he said, my dad worked for the railroad for all these years. He worked on all these steam engines. And he, toward the end of his career, because he was with the railroad for so many years, he got to run this special green and gold engine. And my grandfather was not a rail fan by any means. He always thought his dad's job was kind of cool. And so, that just kind of piqued my interest, and I started doing research, and I was like, green steam engine, like, what could that be? And at first I thought it was the 1401, that engine that's in the Smithsonian. And I quickly realized that thing is basically like a mummy. It's encapsulated inside the Smithsonian. It's beautiful. It looks incredible, but it's never going to run again. And then I learned about Southern 4501. And come to find out, that was the engine my great-grandfather got to run several times back in the 60s and 70s before he retired. And, it wasn't until about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, actually, when my grandfather was still alive.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think he'll take a breath soon?
Well, you know,
Because I'm getting a little confused. There's a lot of information being thrown at me, and I don't even remember the original question, other than I remember that your initials are DB. Now,
well,
and hang on, I'm talking. I can feel my lips moving. I mean, that's an indication that I'm talking. And so it's Delay and Block is the name of your YouTube channel, and coincidentally, your middle name is Isabel. Is that correct?
No, it's not. It's not Isabel.
Isaiah?
Isaiah, you got it right.
Is it really?
It is. It's Isaiah. Yeah.
I vaguely remember that from that video I saw that told the history of the. Yeah, that's very cool that it's Delay and Block and your initials are DIB, and that's very cool.
Yeah.
So I am confused though, because you're throwing a lot of information at me. Based on the way Chris's personality is, and based on the way your personality is, I can tell already. Perhaps, fellas, we should go down to the local eatery and have some dinner and let these two guys just have at it.
Yeah, we can have that. We can arrange that.
Yeah.
Which local eatery are we going to in Busted Knuckle?
Yeah, we'll go down to
I love sushi.
I love sushi because I love sushi.
Yeah,
because it loves you back.
And you know what their motto is, Brad?
Shrimply delicious.
No, they're shrimply the best.
Shrimply the best, darn it.
So they had a problem. One of their trucks sat out in the sun over the weekend, and it's. I would go to Billy Bird instead of. I love
Didn't it turn some of the shrimp into what looked like sauce? I heard
they weren't quite sure what it was, but the hazmat teams were involved.
Yeah, they put it in the green room.
Yeah.
So your grandfather worked for the Southern?
He did. Yes.
So where did your grandparents live?
So my mom's parents are from Michigan. They moved from Alabama to Michigan in the 60s.
Okay.
But my grandfather was raised in Birmingham, and it was his dad that worked for the Southern.
So your great-grandfather?
My great-grandfather, yes.
Worked for the Southern and ran that locomotive?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Now, can I tell you guys a story? This is the thing that fascinates me. This is what kind of fascinates me about doing this podcast. Brad, what you're going to learn as we go along, Kelly and the mailboy are already fully aware of this, but you kind of have to be one step ahead of everything. You have to kind of think of everything as you're going along.
Okay.
Because Drayton makes these great videos, and the audio on these videos is spectacular. Mm. And I kind of assumed that he would be using the same setup that he uses to make the videos as he would to talk to us.
Yeah.
You know what happens a lot of times when you assume?
No, tell me.
You make an ass out of you and me, and it spells assume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to rethink that one?
Probably yes.
Yeah. Do you have any way to?
It's too late now.
Do you have any way to record these podcasts, Brad?
I think they're available for download.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you want me to download this one because it'll be the last one I was on?
Exactly.
Okay.
So he's got
the last time I was on with some minor league teams, so I'm surprised I'm back.
Yeah.
So he's got 299 videos. Holy!
I know,
yeah,
and
I found the YouTube channel. They are absolutely awesome.
194,000 subscribers.
So
I know he's got almost 200,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember doing a 100,000 subscriber celebration last summer, Drayton. We can talk about that later.
Crazy. Yeah.
And what about your YouTube channel, Chris?
I think I have about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm up to 3 or 4 now.
We're going to get into that.
Channels or subscribers?
And another piece of business that we're going to conduct, Bruce, just so you understand. I can't decide if this is going to be on the Patreon channel or the free channel. So we will do an introduction and a wrap up. So we will cover any questions you may have later on in the show.
All right.
About whether it's free or on Patreon.
That's right. So if I hear it, I will be ready. If I don't, I won't. And everybody's going, what the hell are they talking
Well, we're
about?
talking about if it's on the free channel, we got to do our Rapido Trains commercials.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Rapido Trains, your fast track to model railroading fun.
And if it's not on the free channel, we don't need to do our Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
There you go. Why do people think that's funny?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're getting our sponsors' word out, and these guys are laughing, thinking
We take it very seriously.
It's very entertaining. The whole process.
Okay. So sorry I interrupted you, Drayton, halfway through your story. Do you think it would be going on much longer? Oh, let me ask you the question. Why aren't you using the same audio that you use on your YouTube videos?
Well, it's funny, Lionel, because I've been bamboozled. I was doing some yard work on Friday, and we had a tree fall in our backyard. We had some crappy weather, and I was cleaning up some limbs and stuff, and I was at the edge of my driveway. I took a step and stepped on something that really hurt, and I didn't know what it was because I had shoes on, and it was on the bottom of my foot, but I didn't see like anything there. And then all of a sudden, blood was gushing out of my foot, and I couldn't really walk. And I hobbled into the house, and sure enough, there's this big gash in the bottom of my foot, and I had no idea what was going on. I thought I got bit by a snake or something, but like I said, I had shoes on. So my wife helped me, and I went back outside, and we tried to figure out what the heck it was. And turns out I just became a homeowner. We've lived here for about 3 months, and the person who lived here before had a green thumb, and she planted all kinds of like random exotic plants. And the developers that flipped this house cut most of them down, but when they cut the bamboo down, they left the stump at an angle about maybe 2 inches exactly. I never knew that was a thing, but I've been educated, and wow, that was like so painful. So I went to the urgent care. I got 6 stitches, and now I'm on crutches, and I'm currently laying down right now talking to you on my phone. So I apologize for the less than ideal audio quality.
Okay, it's not bad. It's definitely usable, so don't sweat it, but we'll work on that as time goes along.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Wow. And Chris, he has 2 headsets, one that he barely ever uses and one that he's going to carry in his suitcase now. So that he will always have high quality.
Ready.
Yeah, he'll always be ready because we basically call him at a moment's notice and go, Chris, you're on the show tonight. And he'll go, but I'm busy with a client. And I go, Chris, you're on the show tonight.
What are your priorities, man?
Yeah, exactly. Priorities.
Yeah, you got 3 hours to be on the bus up to Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Toronto.
So where were we in the story? So I don't even remember what the question was, other than we talked about how delay and block, and you were telling us your life story, and which was very interesting. Trust me.
He was talking about his grandfather's engine that he
Okay, so your great grandfather was the one that ran this Southern locomotive.
Yes, and I apologize if I've put all the viewers in our group here to sleep. But what I was just going to say to finish that story off is that when I learned about the 4501, it was right around the time that the NS STEAM program was announced, and so not only did I learn that the engine my great granddad ran still existed, but it was going to get restored and run again. So that's really what got me into trains and really got me excited about making YouTube videos. I saw all these channels that I like to watch when I was little, and I was like, you know what? I could make my own videos. So that's kind of like the genesis of where we are today.
Okay. And that, which is very cool. And I got 1,000 questions for you. And part of it, you also have a very cool Facebook page, which is Delay and Block Productions. And if you could help us out here, because Chris, your buddy Chris, now you and Chris have known each other for about 10 years, basically because you've been fans of each other's work. Is that correct?
Yes. And Chris and I lived about an hour from each other, and I met him one day in Bryan, Ohio, which is Chris's hometown, and we just kind of struck up a conversation. I'm pretty sure I was there with my grandmother, and we just kind of became friends. I thought it was cool that he made videos, and then when I learned that he was the Green Frog guy, I was like, oh man, I've seen this guy's videos, clips of his videos on YouTube, and the rest is history.
Let me ask you a question. It's exciting knowing the Green Frog, a Green Frog guy, is it not?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Why does Chris not seem to understand how exciting that is? I understand it. Everybody else but Chris doesn't seem to understand how excited we are to know a Green Frog guy.
Well, I don't know. Chris is just humble, and I think that's one of his best traits. Chris is just an all-around great guy, somebody that I definitely look up to, and I know a lot of other guys in our hobby look up to him too. He's just a great guy, but he'll plug in one of his DVDs. If you go to one of Chris's op sessions, every now and then he'll plug in one of his DVDs, and all of us will stop running trains, and we'll just be glued to the TV. We'll be seeing all these cool locomotives that don't exist anymore. And we're like, you shot this? And Chris is like, yeah, when I was like your age, I shot this.
Yeah, I know.
So Drayton, you've been to Chris's op sessions?
I have. They're fun.
First-hand experience, and rate his snack game.
Yeah, what was the snacks when you were there?
I knew where that was. You were teeing Bruce up for that one.
Well, hey, you're going to throw him right down the middle of the plate. I'll put him.
Yeah, it's a fair question. He said he's been to your operating sessions. Yeah. We know firsthand from Jonathan Myers, that your snacks. We know firsthand from you that for the longest time your snacks consisted of a half a bottle of lukewarm water. And because you were cheap because you didn't want to buy a case of Diet Coke in case it didn't get all gulped down in the one night.
I'm not saying anything. Go ahead, Drayton.
So when was the first time you ever went to one of his operating sessions?
Oh, well, I'd been to Chris's house see, here's the crazy thing. I've lived here in Chattanooga for about 5 years now. And I've only been over to Chris's house like 3 times. And I feel really bad because Chris lives like basically an hour away. But my schedule is kind of crazy and Chris's schedule is kind of crazy. And Tuesday nights when Chris normally has his sessions, I've usually got something going on. But the first time I went over there was about 2 years ago. And I didn't actually participate in the op session. I just kind of hung out, and it was just fun, laid back, good place to hang out and watch train videos and people run trains into each other and all that fun stuff.
Hopefully not that often.
No, I think our good friend Sterling was there and forgot to throw a switch.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, if you could possibly try to continually avoid answering the question. So you were there 2 years ago. Could you give us some indication of 2 years ago what the snacks were like then? Because I'm under the impression we were at the lukewarm water stage 2 years ago.
Well, Chris, what's the chicken place in Ringgold called again? I can't remember.
Chick-fil-A?
No, not Jesus Chicken. No, the other one. Gosh, it's so good. The magic shows there.
Jefferson's,
yeah. We went to Jefferson's the first time I went.
Time out. Have you guys been practicing avoiding questions?
It's like interviewing a politician.
I know. Holy moly.
I believe in America. There you go.
Yeah. It's a straightforward question. Are we going to blow up Russia or not? And it's the same thing. It's a straightforward question. What were you were going to Jefferson's, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's a straightforward question. 2 years ago, when you went to his house for the first time, what were the snacks like?
Remember, you're under oath.
You're putting me between a rock and a hard place with the Russia thing.
You get that? He did a pun there.
I saw what he did there. Yes.
If Drayton had a nickname on this podcast, it would be puns. So just
exactly.
I didn't say they were good.
We didn't have snacks. We had a pregame meal at Jefferson's, and then the next time I came over, we had another pregame meal. We had this amazing Mexican restaurant in Ringgold. It was phenomenal.
So perhaps let me help you answer the question. There were no snacks.
There were no snacks. No, there were not.
That was 2 years ago. I'm a changed man, Lionel. Remember?
I know. I'm just trying to lay some groundwork for the future when there's other future podcasts. I'm just trying to lay groundwork. We've got another witness to the lack of snack problem.
Remember, Chris, transparency is utmost important.
Here.
Accuracy, not so much.
Yeah.
Accuracy is of no concern.
Accuracy is of no concern.
Understood.
I love this guy. So what was the snack thing like? Well, we went to a chicken place. Remember we went to a chicken? This is gonna be like a 6-parter, I think.
And we still don't know what
the early years.
Yeah, the early years. Drayton, the early years. Chris, the early years.
Do you feel a little bit like you're cross-examining a hostile witness right now?
Yeah. Holy mackerel. We haven't even got to any of the interesting stuff yet. That's probably what these two guys have in common. They're both very humble about what they do. And
gee golly.
Yeah, gee golly. We need our gee golly guy. I wonder what his excuse is going to be. He's going to hear this podcast and then he's going to send me a message. Oh, my tractor broke down or something, or I had to scoop out the pool or something. 31 minutes we're into this thing. Holy mackerel. All right. So let's see if we can't pick up. Your dad, your great grandfather had the opportunity to be a locomotive engineer on the Norfolk Southern, what did you say, 4102?
Southern 4501.
4501. I was close. So you could answer that question. I don't understand why you couldn't answer the snack question. Okay. So, and then you and Chris met. Let me see if I can't speed this whole process up a little bit. When did you start shooting videos? Like how old were you when you started shooting videos, Drayton?
I believe I was in 7th grade. I think so. Yeah, so that I probably was 11.
Roughly. You won't be this. You're not under oath for this question.
That's good. Probably about 11 years old, something like that.
Okay. And the year would have been roughly?
2000, I guess it would have been 2007, something like that. Yeah, 2007. Yeah.
And Chris, you started shooting videos at a young age too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I started shooting video, not good video, but video when I was about 13.
So both you guys started at roughly the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're a bit older than Chris. You're a bit older. You're what 15, 20 years older?
10, right? Yeah, I think we're about 10 years apart.
Okay. And how do you remember? Do you remember meeting Drayton? Like, do you remember what that situation was?
Yeah, I do. Met in Bryan, and of course, that's a popular place to hang out, Bryan, Ohio. Like Drayton said, that's my hometown, so I grew up. That's where I started filming trains. By the time we met, I had already been partnering with Green Frog for a few years, so my videos were out there, and people saw them. But we just kind of became friends. We also had a couple mutual friends at that time too. Some people we knew separately, but we kind of figured out that we had that connection. So it kind of started from there. And, that was back when we both lived up in that area before we both coincidentally moved down south to the same general area. But we lived up there, and we would run into each other, or we decide to meet up, from time to time and hang out and watch some trains together. So yeah, his story is accurate.
Yeah. So what are the main railroads through Bryan, Ohio then that gets everybody all excited? And what are the attractions?
So Bryan is on the Norfolk Southern, former Conrail, Chicago line. So if you look at Uncle Dave's Onondaga Cutoff, it's just several hundred miles west, but it's the same line basically. So, he models upstate New York, that line continue west through Buffalo, Cleveland, Toledo, on to Chicago. Brian is right on that particular rail line. Norfolk Southern bought it, got it in the Conrail split that happened where they got, split up between Norfolk Southern and CSX back in 1999. So NS got the Chicago line from Cleveland to Chicago. So now it's, the Chicago line on Norfolk Southern still really busy, and, double track main line. And interesting fun fact about the Chicago line through Bryan. Bryan's kind of on the western 2/3 of about a 79 mile straight tangent stretch of track. So it is just dead straight. You can see forever in Bryan. So it's pretty neat because you can see headlights, for 20 or 30 miles on a clear night to the east. It's really cool. So that's one of the reasons Bryan's popular. There's an Amtrak station there, and there's just a lot of open areas to hang out around there. So it's a good spot, and it's been popular for a long time.
Has anybody else ever heard? I've never heard of that as being a popular spot. Mm-hmm. It's just south of Bryan, Ohio. It's just south of Interstate 90, which and somewhere east of Toledo, Ohio.
West of Toledo, about 60 miles or 50 miles. Yeah.
Right, and just south of Interstate 90. And, okay, so we're going to ask you guys a lot of questions.
Oh, ask away.
And I got a feeling...
Kind of a quiet guy.
But. Yeah, and I got a feeling each answer is going to take maybe an hour or two.
Yeah, probably.
Wait a minute. I'm just going to go pound my head on the doorpost here for a minute. Okay. So how do you guys, we're probably going to jump all over the place, but this is a good question. It's kind of interesting to have both of you here. So I'm interested in this question. I'm all over the place myself, which is good. Why, Chris, I'm interested in your answer because we've grilled you about this before. Why does Drayton have such a spectacular YouTube channel and Facebook page? Drayton, have you ever tried to understand Chris's Facebook pages?
Have I ever tried to understand Chris's?
Yeah, like he has like 7 or 8 Facebook pages that all have the same name.
Hey, I've pared that down. You should only find one now.
Okay.
Lionel, you're just in the wrong one, so I think you're stuck in it until you decide to leave it.
All right. So, yeah, like Drayton, have you ever noticed that you have a spectacular YouTube channel? You have almost 200,000 followers. You have a great Facebook page. Do you guys ever converse about this? Like, do you ever kind of wake up bolt upright, Drayton, and kind of go, why does he not have a Facebook page or a YouTube channel that's of any use to anybody?
Well, I don't know the exact answer to that. I think that would be a better question to ask Mr. Wehman. But
because he avoids, he skirts around the answer.
I will not skirt. And by the way, I have 65. I can't even say it with a straight face. 65 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And the last time I posted a video was 3 years ago. So there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Well, and if you go to Modeler's Life website page, the amodellerslife.com, recently there was a video or a podcast featuring you, and it says right here, Chris Wehman, YouTube influencer.
Yeah. I don't know who created that title.
And if you see it on the internet, it's got to be true.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the name of your YouTube channel, Chris?
It's Chris 7092.
7092. And your
not
Facebook.
Even worth subscribing to.
Yeah. Chris 7092.
That's it.
And what's the name of your Facebook page again?
Norfolk Southern, Heartland Division, N Scale. And that is worth subscribing to. But Lionel, it's not the group. You need to leave the group. It's just the page.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually gonna try to find it. Yeah, we need here, don't you, Bruce?
We're subscribing to just because it's N Scale, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's full of fun content that I update regularly. And there's almost 3,000 people that follow it. So
there you go.
It's got quite a reach.
N Scalers unite, right?
And Scalers unite. Absolutely, Brad.
So it's Norfolk Southern,
Heartland Division, N scale.
All right. Do you subscribe to it, Drayton?
I do.
And I took your advice. Everybody on the call that was on the last show is on. I'm posting more regular updates on my page. Instead of a digest once a month, I put one in 3 days ago. I put one in on Saturday. So I'm trying to be a good boy.
Yeah, there's one here.
Little nuggets.
There's one here from your David Hyde's place.
Mm-hmm.
And one here from April the 13th. So, yeah, plentiful sunshine and a few trains today, including a really nice look. Yeah, because you're an interesting guy. People would... Is that not correct, Drayton? Would people not want to see his stuff on a regular basis?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I
know.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone saw it or not, but Scale Trains actually did a video with Chris not too long ago about his layout.
And we did a whole podcast about it.
There you go. Yeah. See,
that's actually what prompted us to invite you on the show.
That's how we got to it. That's how we got to this show, is because we did a whole show about Scale Trains coming to his place to do a video, and then we got talking, and I said I've always wanted to talk to Drayton on the podcast, and then Chris said, "Oh, I know him really well," and I went, "Do you?" And he says, "Yeah." So I said, "Well, get him on the show," and that's how we are today.
Well, there you go.
This is going to be. This is going to go on and on. I can tell.
Oh yeah.
Have you been to? I like this. Some of you have asked for a snapshot of my dispatcher screen. So here it is. See, like, this is good stuff. Way to go! Yeah, it's gold. It's gold, Jerry. It's gold. And look at how many people respond to it and everything like that. Look at that. You're on your way now, buddy. You're on your way now. And you have a 2,800 followers. Norfolk Southern, Heartland Division, N scale.
I just followed it.
That a boy.
That might have taken us over to 2.7. You never know.
Yeah. And Drayton's Facebook page is Delay in Block Productions with 35,000 followers. Wow. Drayton, do you have any idea how popular your YouTube channel is and your Facebook page is?
Well, sometimes I do. I honestly, I think Facebook sucks, and I could talk about that for a long time.
I got a feeling you could talk about anything for a long time.
It's the cesspool known as Facebook.
Well, true. Oh, I think my wife just set off the fire alarm. Hold on 1 second.
We'll pause for station identification.
Stand by. I tell you what, ask Chris questions. Let me make sure she's okay.
Sure. Why don't we do that?
Oh boy.
Or do we need some elevator music?
No, you don't do elevator. You don't do elevator.
We gotta keep
the suspense here.
Yeah, we already did it. We already did it.
Follow this live action.
Yeah, we already did elevator music a minute ago when we were typing in something.
We did.
Had you not fallen asleep, you would have known that.
Sorry.
So
I'm good now.
There were subtle clues.
Yeah, if you follow along, there are subtle clues. For example, on one particular podcast, we discussed at length Henry Mancini.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear this one.
Yeah, you'll get a chance.
You will.
Yeah. Apparently, he was from West Aliquippa, Ohio. And did you know Pennsylvania? I mean, and did you know, Chris, that Chris Wehman? Did you know that in 1976, the Pittsburgh Panthers, the college team, won the NCAA national championship?
I did not.
Me neither. Me neither. But
you didn't?
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know that either. But it was apparently something I was supposed to have known that.
Can't believe you didn't.
I didn't either. I couldn't believe it either. In the following year,
I was shocked when I heard that, and I figured that was like common knowledge amongst everybody.
Exactly.
I didn't know there was a Pittsburgh Panther football team.
There you go. Yeah. So okay, Chris, what do you think the difference is? Let's try to see if we can understand. I understand you're a humble guy. That I get 100%, which I very much appreciate about your personality, and I think it's one of your endearing qualities. But why do you think you don't understand how much people would like to see your stuff?
It's honestly, it just comes down to time. It comes down to what I would choose to spend my time doing. I've mentioned before, it's been a while. I'm not a fan. So if you're just talking about video stuff, I'm not a fan of putting videos together. I don't enjoy it. And so that's why I've partnered with Green Frog, where we kind of work together, excuse me, with how we put up, I've mentioned this before on the show, I put the timeline together and work up the script, but they do all the transitions and putting the graphics in and things like that. It's just, it takes, and Drayton, when he can attest to this, it's extremely time consuming to do that. And I just have never really had the interest to do that. That's why the Green Frog thing works for me.
Yeah, so you prefer providing the raw content
exactly, and putting it in a timeline, sending it to them, and they clean it up. I do the narration script, so I've got 50% involvement in it, but they do a lot of the final editing, cleaning it up, transitions, title work, menu, on a DVD, like a menu, things like that. So that's really why I've mentioned before, I just hate video editing, and that's why I don't even put stuff on my own YouTube channel, because it just takes so much time. I just feel like I barely have time to even work on my layout on top of other things that, I just don't spend the time to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's a valid point, I think, because, I am continually amazed to sit here and listen to people talk about and see on our Facebook groups and stuff, like all these people must be like 29 hours a day following YouTube channels and Facebook pages and stuff like that. And like, when do they find time to function normally with their life? Like, do these people, all they do is sit in front of their computer all day? Because if I try to keep up with a couple, I feel I'm doing good with everything else that's going on in life.
Right. And that's really why. I mean, that's it. I mean, I love these guys that have these awesome YouTube channels, Drayton with Delay and Block. We interviewed Danny Harmon. And I know Drayton, we can talk about him. He's got an awesome YouTube channel with a ton of followers, and he'll say Ron Marsh, with Ron's Trains and Things, right? Great YouTube channel. He spends a lot of time putting content together, and that's his jam, and he likes doing it. And I love that. It's just not, I don't share that same love for video stuff. I love watching them, but putting it together, just not my jam. If I had that time, I'd rather spend it, noodling around on the layout and working on trains.
That's kind of that's a new hip phrase I think I'm going to be using on the
What's
podcast.
That, noodling?
No, that's not my jam, man.
Oh, I'm not very hip, so it might have been something from.
Well, I think you're a lot hipper than we are, because I've never heard that before. But I'm going to use it now.
Not my jam.
It's not my jam.
What do the millennials say? Some weird thing. I don't know.
Figure it out. Aren't you a millennial?
I am what they call a geriatric millennial.
Oh, really?
So I'm an old millennial. Yeah. So I'm at the very beginning, very, very beginning of that age group.
How old are you again, Chris?
I'm 39. Be 40 in a couple of months.
Oh, that's right. You're the same age as my son.
Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of creepy.
It is.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's kind of creepy for both of us, actually.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have a different. You and my son are the same age, and yet I have a totally different relationship with you than I do with my son. Not just because he's my son, but, like right now I'm struggling with the fact that I couldn't get him to cut the grass, but now he's running my company and doing a good job of it. I'm kind of like, that's a stumper right there.
Yeah.
It can be a stumper as long as it's not bamboo.
Oh, here we go. Hey, Puns is back.
Yeah, Puns is back, yeah. So was there a fire?
No, thankfully it was the air fryer smoking up. I guess she made some French fries or something. So
that sounds good.
Thankfully we're good to go.
Okay, attaboy.
So I got a question.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Drayton, what do you use to make your videos?
So I have a Canon HF G30. It's kind of a traditional video camera, but it is a digital camera, of course, and it shoots 4K.
Well, no,
but I really
hang on a minute. How old are you, Drayton?
I'm 27.
All right. Like, why would you say it's a digital camera? Of course, we don't know any of this stuff. We're all. You got to think of this as we're a clean slate, buddy.
Well, it doesn't take film. How about that?
Okay, and what was the name of the camera again?
It's a Canon HF-G30.
HF-G30.
And it's an old camera. I think they make a G80 now, but I'm so happy with this version of the camera. I just haven't really seen much of a need to upgrade. I'm not the biggest fan of 4K because I just think it takes up so much hard drive space. I have about 18 terabytes of data stored on a master hard drive, which is a lot of data. And so if you shoot 4K, your file sizes are 2 and 3 times larger than what it would be in 1080. So, and most people watching YouTube aren't going to be watching in 4K. So that's why I shoot 1080.
That's a good question. I'm going to have a lot of questions. So you're not a fan of? Okay.
I'm looking at the 4501 that you did two videos so far that I found, and the color and the I don't know, the clarity is just unbelievable on the camera. I mean, the video is just unbelievable.
Well, yeah, I'm really impressed with Canon. I'll tell you, I have a coworker at Scale Trains who shoots stills with a mirrorless, and it also does video. And I've really thought about going and getting a mirrorless camera. The only problem is they're anywhere between $2,000 and $6,000. So I'm not going to be spending money on that anytime soon. But
isn't that what you're making basically per week off your YouTube channel?
I wish that would be nice.
That's like a week's worth of revenue. Come on now.
Yeah.
That would be really nice if that was the case.
Yeah. Have you ridden in 4501 in the cab itself when it was running?
Yes, I had the opportunity to do that about 3 years ago, and it was just an amazing experience.
Wow.
They let me blow the whistle for the Missionary Ridge Tunnel, and
hang on a minute, Kelly. You can't be jumping around like that. We're talking about the camera. The next thing you're talking about is 4501, and he's talking about.
That's right.
My God.
I'm watching this video now.
Why are you watching a video while we're trying to interview him?
Well, that's why I'm trying to come up with questions. That's all.
Well, yeah, okay. Try to keep your questions in some sort of order, because you're asking him about the camera, and then the next thing you know, you're asking him about Bruce. Can you help me out here?
I wish I could, but
he's watching the videos too.
No. I'm not one that will multitask. My focus is I've got his Facebook page up and I've looked at it a bit, but I'm not watching videos. I'm paying attention to what's going on.
Oh, I'm listening to what's going on. I have the sound turned off, but it's just the camera work. It's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, thank you for keeping us on track.
I will. Yeah, jeez. I'd like to. Once we're off of the camera discussion, I have a few questions, but I will defer.
So can we stop now with the 4501, Kelly, or do you have more 4501?
No, I'm happy.
All right. So yeah.
Well, no, consider he opened that can of worms. When you're up in 4501, where'd you go to? How long?
And there's a whole lot of people out. There's a whole lot of people out there that have no idea what 4501 is. You got now. If you guys have learned anything over 10 years, you know that I'm a stickler for not just leaving stuff hanging out there. We have to explain to people what 4501 is. Chris, you explain to people what 4501 is.
Yeah. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about for a minute. I
love it.
If I could take the floor for a minute, Lionel. The 4501 is a Southern Railway steam locomotive. And it actually currently operates as a part of the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum's fleet of excursion equipment that they use here in Chattanooga. So what is kind of cool for those listening to the show here is that in 2026, the NMRA convention, will be here in Chattanooga, and there will be a lot of 4501 and its sister locomotive 630, a lot of events around them, operating throughout the week of the convention. So the 4501 is still an active steam locomotive. So Drayton, blowing the whistle and things like that. They have a few different excursions that they run out of Chattanooga. I think Drayton, you briefly mentioned the Missionary Ridge Local, which is kind of their common, kind of shorter, like 1 hour type trip. But they have some that go farther, some that go all the way as far as Somerville, Georgia. And that's actually an all day trip. And when those run, a lot of rail fans come out and chase it. The train's usually pretty full. It's a really popular event. And I know that, those will be running during the NMRA convention here in a couple of years. So the 4501s are pretty popular locomotives, like I said, still around today. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you see the video, that's still being used today.
What's the wheel arrangement on that?
Drayton, do you know what the wheel arrangement is off the top of your head? I don't.
2.8 or 2.4 or 2.8.
280, 282 maybe. I think it's a 282.
282 Mikado.
Yeah. It's a smaller engine. I mean, it's not huge. 630 is even smaller than that it is, but
well, it's a beautiful engine.
It really is. It's still around, which is really cool. You know what I mean? So it's a 282 Mikado. Yep.
Missy and I rode behind that engine a couple summers ago when we were down in Tennessee for the National N Scale Convention.
When you were in Nashville, yeah.
Well, we stayed. No, were you there too? I figured.
No, I wasn't actually, but I'm not far from I like 20 minutes from the museum. So
yeah, that Tennessee Valley is a first-rate operation.
It is.
We really enjoyed it.
It is.
But we stayed 2 nights in Chattanooga, and then we got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
In an Airbnb home that we rented.
All right.
You hear what that pounding sound is?
Your head against the wall.
Probably your head against the wall.
We gotta stay with some. You guys don't realize that this is an endless source of information with these two guys. So we gotta stay somewhat organized.
It's gonna be a 37-parter.
It is.
You're not in charge. You're not in charge, Kelly.
I know. I'm just wishing.
Okay. I apologize, Drayton. I thought it was going to be much more professional, but we've been at this 10 years and we still haven't figured out how to do it.
Well, I'm enjoying the conversation. The reason I talk so much is because I am a nervous talker, and I've listened to the show here and there, and I've really enjoyed listening to it when I do. To be honest with you, I don't listen as often as I should because I'm around trains all day. My day job is trains, and my YouTube channel, which is basically my second job, is trains. So when I go home, I really don't listen to podcasts in the hobby. I like to listen to like historical podcasts, and I have a vinyl record collection. I like a lot of 80s music, and so I collect vinyl, and I usually just listen to music, and I have 3 dogs, and so I just kind of relax when I'm at home, but I have listened to your show, and so I talk a lot, and you can ask my wife. On our first date, I think she said 3 words.
Jeez.
You say your daytime job is probably related to what?
And you know what those 3 words were?
Can we leave?
Yeah, can you please stop?
I'll have
That's 4 words.
I'll have
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome.
Hit the record button.
See you guys. Been nice knowing you.
Holy moly. I'm not being paid enough. Whatever it is I'm being paid, it ain't enough. Can we get back to the camera? Can we
to the camera?
Can we try to keep some sort of cohesiveness on with this thing? Can we get back to the camera? So it's a Canon HFG30. When did you buy this particular camera?
2014, 10 years ago.
Okay, and it is more of a professional type camera, is it not?
I'd call it a semi-professional camera. It's yeah. I mean, you could spend a lot more money, and you could also, spend a lot less. But for what I use it for, it's pretty good.
Right, and I mean, but you see these cameras, and I mean, they're obviously a step up from your standard, family video camera. And what's primarily the difference? Because I mean, I've almost bought myself an expensive video camera too, until I saw myself on video and realized that would be a bad idea. But what is the difference? Like when you step up from a family video camera to like an HFG 30 or their HFG 70s now, but like what's the primary difference?
Well, Lionel, there's a video I've wanted to make for years, and it's called "How to Make Train Videos." And in this video, I want to go over, all the equipment I use, why I use it, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview of that. But I think the biggest, most important thing when selecting a video camera to document trains is to make sure that you have a good external microphone. So if you have a family camera at home that you've had for 15 years, probably isn't going to have a jack for a mic. And the biggest thing for me with trains is sound. I love listening to locomotives, battle a really steep grade, or listen to them in dynamics, or if you have a really heavy freight train, I just really enjoy the sound. And that's honestly why I gravitated toward video as opposed to taking stills, because I just think trains sound amazing. So that was kind of my main motivation. Thankfully, there was a guy, kind of a mentor of mine, when I was in high school, who kind of educated me. He was actually a member of my church who kind of taught me the ropes of professional video cameras. And that's one thing he always emphasized, is the importance of having a good microphone. So honestly, you could buy a camera that's like $400. It'll shoot 4K. It's amazing what you can get now. When I first started, 10 years ago, I spent like $1,400 on this camera, and that was a lot of money, especially for when I was in high school. But I saved my money and ended up getting it. But now, man, you can shoot 4K video with your iPhone. You can take great videos with your iPhone. But again, there's so many videos I see where people, will be filming a train on their iPhone, and it sounds like they are inside, like, I don't know, like those NASA testing facilities where they test the stress on different pieces of equipment with wind. It's like horrible audio. It's like you can't even hear the train. So, I don't think that anyone needs to start out necessarily with a professional camera. What I first made my very first train videos with?
No, but I got a feeling you're going to tell us.
Well, that feeling is correct. I used my mom and dad's Palm Pre smartphone, which back in 2007, that was like one of the very first smartphones with a good camera on it. And I didn't tell my dad what I was going to do, but we used to play baseball at this park, and my brothers had a game going on, and I knew Amtrak was going to go by. So I walked down, about a quarter of a mile to the track, and I asked my dad if I could use his phone. And I took his phone, and I took some rocks, and I piled the rocks up. Now I don't recommend doing this to anyone else, but this is what I did when I was in seventh grade. I set my dad's phone up in the middle of the track, and Amtrak ran over his phone at 79 miles an hour. And this plastic cup, it's my very first YouTube video. You can look it up on my channel. This
I gotta see this.
Cup,
Oh yeah.
it's hilarious. It just comes and bounces right by the camera, and you can just hear little Drayton. It stayed up. I couldn't believe the camera didn't fall over. So that was my very first video. But I shot it on a phone, and the phones today are like, unbelievable. We're talking 15 years ago, and the technology has just come so far. It's amazing.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, primarily you got it because you wanted to make quality videos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you could do it with a phone, but you wouldn't recommend that, would you? If you wanted to create a video or YouTube channel of the quality that you have, you wouldn't
Wow.
recommend that.
Jeez.
What? What are you doing, Kelly?
I just watched the video. I'm sorry.
The best part is Drayton's prepubescent voice.
I have the sound turned off. I didn't want it to get in the screen. It's amazing. Drayton, did you have any training in doing videos, or you just do it by experience, by practicing it?
No. Before, I don't want to get off track, so I'm going to answer Lionel's other question first, and then I'll come to that one.
There you go. Good man.
No, I would not recommend your phone. If it's all you have and you're a kid, which I started making money off of YouTube when I was in 9th grade, but I had no money prior to that, and I convinced my parents to let me buy a camera from this sketchy guy off of Craigslist for $100. This is just this garbage camera, and it was my very first camera. And I remember my dad went with me, and we met this random guy in a Kmart parking lot. And I got this camera, and it was like one of those old family video cameras, and it was okay, but it didn't have an external mic jack. And, from learning from this guy at my church, I just decided, I needed to upgrade and get a camera like him. And so I did my research, and that's how I ended up on the HFG30. But no, I would recommend, like, if you're a kid and you're in middle school or high school and you're just starting out and you don't have money, use your iPhone, buy a Walmart tripod for $50 and buy a nice external mic to go with it. You can get a decent one for like $50. So really, for about $100, you can make way better videos than I did when I was in middle school and high school. But yeah, no, to anyone who has more than $200 in their bank account, if you can spend the money, I would buy a camera between the $600 and $900 range to start out, and buy a $150 Rode microphone, and that's what I would start out with. That's the best way.
So basically what I'm hearing from you is that if you're doing any kind of digital entertainment source, say a video or audio podcast or anything like that, you should have the best sound that you can get.
I know where you're going with this. You got me, Lionel. Yes, you should definitely try to get the best audio that you can get, not talk on a podcast on your iPhone.
All right, everybody's dying to hear about where you work and all that stuff, and we're already quickly running out of time because we're going to have to do an introduction and a wrap-up, and so far, Bruce and I have yet to learn how to do one of those in under an hour and a half. So, where you both live in? Both you and Chris live in Chattanooga, like a half a block from each other, because wherever Chris goes, you go, or wherever you go, Chris goes. Is that basically what I'm understanding?
Yeah, pretty much, something like that.
Yeah. We're recording this on the day before my birthday, and I would have thought you guys would have been a little more thoughtful on the day before my birthday.
Yeah, but nobody's supposed to know what your birthday is.
Well,
per the last podcast.
Well, did I say that today is such and such?
No, you did not.
Can I borrow borrow $10 so I can get you a present?
Yeah. You want to get me something real nice?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'll go to that Kmart parking lot and see if I can get that sketchy camera.
Yeah.
My favorite story about sketchy cameras and video cameras and buying them off eBay. My brother-in-law, who is one of the cheapest people I know. I mean, this guy, talk about cheap. Oh my God. And I mean, he's very well off. He's very well off. Imagine a number that sounds like you'd be rich and double it. That's my brother-in-law. And I'll never forget, he bought a video camera off a guy on eBay for $15, and he was mad when he got it and it didn't work. And I'm like, Tom, it was $15. That's what you get for $15. All right. So let's get on to, because we're going to do another. Drayton, would you like to be on part 2 of the we're going to have to come up with a name for this podcast. Brad, do you understand the basic principles of an audio podcast?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Would you like to jump in here with a name, a possible name for this particular 27-part trilogy of with?
Oh boy, how about the videographer posse?
That's not bad off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do what I can.
Yeah, keep that microphone closer to your mouth because it's.
Thank you. I do what I can.
Yeah, there you go. I think we're going to have to strap it to his face, Bruce.
Yeah.
I have some duct tape here. Do you want me to use that?
Yeah, do something,
Okay.
would you?
Yeah, I will.
That's not a bad start. We're going to have to come on. Anyways, Drayton, would you mind being on the podcast again? So
Not at all.
So that we can make this some sort of a continuing thing until we get all the questions answered.
No problem. That would be great.
Okay. And you don't worry, you're not going to be forced to listen to them or anything. Speaking of that, where do you work?
I work for this little model train company called Scale Trains.
And they're situated in
Cleveland, Tennessee.
Is that where you live? Do you live near scale trains?
I live out in the boonies. I live in this little place called Benton, Tennessee, which is where
It used
Scale
to be.
Trains was located a year ago.
Right.
And I swapped. I traded places.
Okay. You bought their warehouse or something?
No, there's no bamboo at that warehouse.
Oh, okay. Your foot hurts, I bet, eh?
Yes, it does.
I feel bad for you, and I appreciate that you still came on the podcast. I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. It was very thoughtful of you to do that.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor and a privilege.
Yeah. So you work for Scale Trains. What do you do for Scale Trains?
Well, my official title is I'm the brand marketer. I do a little bit of everything. If it is basically in text, I probably wrote part of it or some of it. So if you get a box, Scale Trains locomotive, I probably was the one who put that text on the box. I write our newsletter that goes out every week. I'm in a lot of our videos. I help out. I write almost all of the ads that are in all of the various different magazines. And I do just a little bit of everything. Mostly copywriting is what my job's become. I initially was hired to do video production, but they hired me and another gentleman, and they found that his strong suit was not writing. And I said, let me give it a try. And I started contributing to the newsletter, and they were just like, why don't you just take this over? So that's kind of how I ended up doing the newsletter stuff, which led to advertising and box labels and things like that.
Oh, cool. So if there was a podcast that had to be listened to that your boss Shane Wilson was on, would you be the guy listening to it?
Oh yeah. Yes. I actually listened to the last one Mr. Wilson was on. And that was a good one. It was a very deep subject.
Well, there's one floating around now that needs to be listened to that I said that I would let somebody there listen to it before I broadcast it.
Okay.
But I'm starting to run out of patience. So find out where it is, get somebody to listen to it, and so that I can. Otherwise, I'm just gonna put it on the air if nobody responds.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Send it to me. I'll give it a listen.
All right. Well, I sent it to Shane. He said to send it to him.
Well, I will tell you, Mr. Wilson is about to be a grandfather, and he is so busy. I have never seen Shane so busy in the 5 years I've worked at Scale Trains, and I'm lucky to get emails back from him.
Wow.
I see Shane for maybe 30 minutes a week right now. He's actually traveling now on the road trip, so you probably are not going to hear from him for a while, unfortunately.
Okay. Do you know anybody else that's having a baby right now?
Yes. My wife and I, we're having a baby.
Are you?
Cool. Congratulations.
It's almost like that was a leading question, like I knew the answer to it.
Yeah, almost. You've really done your research.
We do our research.
We're expecting any day now, actually. So I'm hoping that my foot will heal so I can actually walk and help her get to the hospital.
Yeah, get it healed in a hurry.
Because you're gonna be the one wheeling her out of the hospital. She can't be wheeling you.
Yeah, I know.
I think you'll be doing that, Chris. I think you're the one going to be called in for that.
I'll be wheeling Drayton.
And take some video of it, will you?
Yeah, we'll put it on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, put it on your YouTube channel.
I thought it was Wheeling, West Virginia.
There you go. I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Bruce.
Wow.
Okay, so you've worked. How long have you been at Scale Trains?
Almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in July.
Okay, and is it so you must like working there, otherwise you wouldn't be there for 5 years.
Yes, definitely. My favorite part about my job is my coworkers. I love everybody that I work with. It's a wonderful family company. As a matter of fact, just to give you an example of how great Scale Trains is, they the company threw my wife and I a baby shower, and they decorated it. It was all railroad themed. It was just really sweet, and just could not be more blessed and more thankful to work there.
Great.
So
That's
they
good.
give your baby some of those rivet counter museum quality units.
Well, I don't think there's a family discount, but let me just tell you something right now. The employee discount is one of the greatest and one of the worst things ever, because you can never just get one. You see the price and you're like, man, I got to get another one. I'll never be able to get another one at this price ever again. And before you know it, you've spent more money than what you would have if you just bought one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was under the impression that you weren't necessarily a model railroader per se.
Oh no, I am. I'm a modeler. I have my own fake short line railroad, and it's a Genesee in Wyoming company that I made up, and I've been doing that actually for about 12 years, but nobody likes Genesee in Wyoming, so I'm the only one, I guess.
I like
you should start a
Genesee.
Facebook group for Genesee and Wyoming.
Yeah, I like the
Model.
Genesee and Wyoming too. Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and there's the original Genesee in Wyoming.
Medford has one.
Medford has one. But they all. Did you know, Drayton, that Medford also has one of the longest runways in North America, and they can simultaneously land 3 of those giant Russian cargo jets at the same time.
No, but that is just plain cool.
It is, isn't it?
Pun strikes again.
I get it. Plain cool. Oh, I get it. There.
Mr. Puns.
Yeah. Or annoying. Mr. Annoying. That fits too. Okay, I didn't realize you were a model railroader as well. So, what? Let me ask you this. Let's deviate from a little bit from the video thing, because we still have tons. I have tons of questions about your YouTube channel, because I think you make spectacular videos. I'm like, what really sold me? I had seen your stuff years ago, probably 8-9 years ago. I started watching Delay and Block. But the one that really sold me was the one about the saludigrade.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great video. Very, very well done. Very informative. Very fun to watch. So it's gonna be cool to talk to you about the production of making this. Because while you were gone handling the fire alarm, I was yelling at Chris about not having a more more active YouTube channel, or a more active Facebook page. And he was explaining to us, as he has in the past, why he doesn't necessarily have a YouTube channel, even though he is a YouTube influencer, according to our website.
Me and my 60 followers.
Yeah. You and your 60 followers. Exactly. So let me ask you a model railroad question, seeing as how we've discovered that you've been an employee of Scaled Trains. And notice that we even though we're sponsored by Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
Don't laugh. It's true. As far as we're concerned, it's true.
I just love that little audio clip. I don't know why. It's just fun.
Yeah, you should hear our commercials. So where do you see the industry going? We'll finish with this discussion, and then we'll line up off the air. We will line up our next podcast. So where do you see the model railroad industry going? And I don't want to have a discussion about old guys saying the hobby's dying, because that's not even a worthwhile discussion. But me personally, I've been touting for years now, and people have heard me say it a million times. Wow, the strangest railroad crossing you've ever seen has 1 million views. Holy moly, that's from 5 years ago. Wow.
There's a couple that have over 2 million. I think there's one with 3 million.
Holy mackerel.
1 million, yeah.
I bet you he is pulling in the five. I bet you he's pulling in $5 or $6 grand a week doing this.
Gosh, I wish.
He's going to need it.
Why is he going to need it?
Because he's got a family now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, a kid doesn't cost $5 or $6 grand a week, does it?
Well, he's got to support
He didn't come pretty close. Yeah.
yeah, he's got to support his train habit at Scale Trains.
Oh, okay. Where do you see the industry? Because I don't want to have that tired old discussion of, old guys saying that the hobby's dying because there's nobody in it. Because as far as I'm concerned, the hobby's going to explode, and we're all going to be covered in model railroad goo. So where do you fit in on that discussion?
Well, the future of the hobby, in my opinion, is thriving. I think the key is, if you want to be successful in this day and age as a model railroad manufacturer, you need to make modern stuff. And we hear it all the time. Another Gevo, really, scale trains. But the thing is Gevos sell. They sell better than any other model that we make. And I think that's twofold. One, even the older guys like to model stuff that they see every day. There's a really awesome guy that Chris knows here in Chattanooga named Roy Masterson. And Roy is in his 70s, and what I really like about Roy is he lets all of us young guys come over to his operating sessions, and he lets us run whatever we want to run. He has set cars and things like that, but if we have a locomotive that we just got, or because a lot of us young guys, I'll be completely honest, because of inflation and because of the crazy housing market, especially here in East Tennessee, we don't have money to build a model railroad or the space. And so when an older guy who has a nice layout says, hey, I'm having this op session, you can bring whatever you want to run. When he gives you that opportunity, you take it. And it's so fun because Roy has no expectations. He just wants you to have a good time. And I think that's what really the older generation needs to understand is, if you want to get young people involved in the hobby, you've got to get kind of on their level. You have to understand what they're into. And I think, a lot of, I'll just give you an example, like Model Railroad Club. I used to be a member of a Model Railroad Club, won't say where, but it was basically built by this group of older guys who were retired, and they did a marvelous job on this railroad. It took probably about 7 or 8 years to build. And, they have a lot of pride in that. And I would too. I mean, it's magnificent what they were able to do. But then you got these young guys like me who show up, several years after they finished building it, after they put all the blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I just show up and I pay dues and I got a job and I can't, get down there more than once a week. And usually not when the old guys are there on Wednesday afternoons. I'm there on the weekends or in many cases after 6 p.m. when I get off of work, I'm running my trains. And I think the biggest hurdle for that group of guys is, to understand the younger generation. Why do you guys model what you model? Why do you like running these engines? Or like incorporating stuff that younger guys like for instance, having a modern night where you only run stuff that's made after, prototypes that are made after the year 2000. I think if you do stuff like that, you're going to get so many more young people and honestly, even older people. There's a guy here in Chattanooga named Bill Orman, and he's also in his 70s, but he models modern Norfolk Southern because his grandkids like the train with the horse on it. So I think you really can reach a lot of people by incorporating modern. And I'm not saying there's no place for transition era. I'm not saying there's no place for, F units and E units and beautiful passenger trains. I'm just saying we need to make room for the younger generation. I think Chris, he's not, I don't think Chris is old at all, but he's older than I am, and he has a house and he has a layout. And the fact that he opens up his house and lets, younger guys who are in high school come over and run their N-scale trains, he gives people an opportunity that they'd otherwise never have. And that's how you build relationships with people. Getting on their level, asking them questions. Well, why do you model this engine? Why do you like it so much? Stuff like that. And I think when younger people realize the older generation really cares, that's when they get really enthusiastic and they're like, man, I'm all about this hobby. I want to make an impact. I want to start a YouTube channel like Josh Clark. That was a great episode, by the way. I listened to that episode when you had Josh Clark on a few months ago, Lionel. That was fantastic.
We're going to get him on again.
Yeah, he was at Springfield. I met him in person at Springfield.
I met
He
him.
was at the show.
I met him at Lauren's at the Otter Valley Railroad booth.
Mhm.
He showed
Yeah,
up,
nice
and I
guy.
said, "Hey, you're Josh Clark," and I got to get him back on the podcast. So would the answer be to the question then? Yes, you think the hobby's strong and vibrant?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Okay. I had another question.
That's the consensus.
That's the consensus. I had another question I was going to ask you. Now I can't remember what it was. Whatever it was probably a really good one too. All right, that's it. We got to stop because we got lots more to talk about, and we haven't even scraped the surface here. We haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Wow.
How do you think it went?
Multi-parter.
A multi-parter. How do you think it went? How do you think it went, Chris?
Do you think I'll be invited to the next one?
Absolutely.
Then I think it went great.
He's slick, I'll tell you what.
I tell you, I legit. No, I think it went great. I mean, like you said, there's a lot. I mean, I still want to talk about, Drayton, you and I, and some of the stuff we've done together, like the live streams and, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't even know, but there's live streams you guys have done together?
Quite a few on the YouTube channel.
When were you going to tell us about that?
The second part. We got to hold some stuff back.
You've been on the show. You've been doing live streams with Drayton, and you're just telling us now?
Lionel, we've been doing live streams together on Drayton's YouTube channel. Yeah.
Isn't that one of the things about showbiz? You're supposed to always leave them wanting more.
You got to have the cliffhanger. Good night, everybody. There we go.
Brad, I don't want you to take this the wrong way or read too much into it.
Uh-huh.
But lately, you've been just irritating the living crap out of me.
Good to know.
Yeah. When you're making a comment, you might want to think about whose side you want to take. So when I say something like, "You're doing live streams and we're just finding out about this now," I don't necessarily think you want to jump on that ship because it seems to have like 4 feet of water in the basement already.
So you're saying I should side with the guy who controls the power button here and can
or
mute me
decides who gets to be on the show and who doesn't get to be on the show. Why would we only find out now that you and Drayton have been doing live streams?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that.
No,
I think it's been going so well. There's just so much to talk about still. We're just going to have to keep everybody in suspense.
Drayton, when did you guys start doing these live streams?
Oh, well, Chris, didn't we do a couple in Ohio before you moved? I feel like we did.
I remember my first one during 2020.
Okay. I feel like we did. Maybe I did one in Ohio and you just happened to be there.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I think it was when you were going home to visit your mom. This was like probably 2019, 2018, something like that.
Because I've gone to the live part of your YouTube channel and I don't see one that's older than 2022. So they're not all up there, I guess.
Well, I have a playlist, so I don't like to keep the live videos up on my channel publicly because I get people who will downvote the live streams. They're like, "This is the most boring train video I've ever watched," and it's like, well, yeah, because it was a live stream and you're just watching you're watching a video that's old that was meant to be live. It's going to be boring because basically there's times where there aren't any trains, and so you got to kind of fill the gap with all kinds of stories and things like that. And Chris is great because y'all know Chris and I talk a lot.
Yeah, we've noticed. Well, or say you have a guest on and all of a sudden they leave the studio because there's a fire alarm ringing in their house or something. and you got to fill that air.
Right. Yeah. So I have a playlist and I just make them unlisted, but if you go to my playlist, you can find all the live streams. But yeah, we really started doing them in 2020 when the world shut down.
And we're just finding out from Chris now.
Yeah, really.
Just I'm not apologizing for that. Yes, you're just finding out.
Well,
now.
You should apologize for it because you're on the podcast. We enjoy your presence on the podcast, and we enjoy. Why is it you want to keep what you do a secret?
It's just going to be something else for us to look forward to talking about next time.
Yeah, keep trying. Yeah.
To be honest with you, Lionel, I forgot until about 5 minutes ago that we do a live stream. And I just saw it and I'm like, oh yeah, we do live streams. Yeah, that's why. I mean, I'm just trying to not come across that way. The thought didn't occur to me to bring it up.
I know what a question was I wanted to ask that I forgot. So you said the fellow you went to his name was Roy Masterson?
Yes, he's the southeastern region president of the NMRA.
Of course he is.
I've brought him up too previously too. He's a celebrity around here.
He's awesome.
Okay, so the answer to the question would be yes. It was
yes.
Boy. What were the snacks like when you went to his house?
Brownies. Roy always makes brownies.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
And ice cold Diet Cokes.
Ooh,
wow,
that's fantastic. And Roy comes and runs at my operating sessions. He loves it. He loves coming over here.
When were you going to tell us that?
When we started talking about Roy Masterson and how great of a guy he is.
He's the bomb.
He's the bomb.
And if you come to the NMRA show in 2026, you'll get to meet Roy Masterson and run on his layout.
Wow. And would I be able to run on your layout?
Of course.
Would I be able to
stay in my
There might even be some scenery when you come down.
The more important part is what is those snacks like? If you want them there in 2026, get that snack game organized and get it up to big league quality. We don't want no double A ball quality snacks showing up in your layout.
Hey, Chris, are you coming to the Tomstock?
I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to Tomstock. I would like to.
You're going to miss a great time.
I know.
There's going to be some good snacks, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be good snacks.
Probably him and Drayton will be doing a live stream or something.
Yeah. We'll be with you in spirit. I wish I could. I'm not going to be able to make that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Summertime's a little busy with kids and stuff like that. So just gotta.
Hey, Drayton, did I ever tell you the time that Chris sent me a text that he was in Orlando, which is roughly 30 miles from my house down here in Florida? I said, hey, great, let's get together for lunch. He says, oh, I can't.
Really?
To which I'm thinking to myself, then what are you telling me you're here for?
That's fair.
All right.
Darn you, Chris. There, Lionel. How was that?
And the problem is other people have done the same thing where they've failed to rendezvous with you while you're in Florida.
I don't remember who was that. Who else failed?
I don't know.
You're talking about Scott. Oh, that was a whole different thing. He had something to do.
yeah.
Scott's a special case. Wait till he finds it. Wait till he finds out that he forgot there was a podcast tonight. I know right now he's listening to this and he's just like banging his head on the steering wheel thinking, how did I forget that? Well, I'll tell you how you forgot it. You're too busy building everybody else's model railroad structures. That's how you're
too busy building an N-scale station.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess.
No, he's done with that. He's doing an HO one now.
Yeah, for the Queso Cowboy. All right.
Oh, boy.
That's it. All right. So, Drayton, when we go from one segment to another, which is what we're about to do now, we've had the introduction to this podcast. We've done the podcast, the interview, and now we're going to segue into a wrap up of this particular podcast.
Okay.
And on that wrap up and the intro will probably be me, Bruce the Mailboy, and possibly Kelly. We'll see how it goes. But when we go from one segment to the other, we need somebody to say, subway chimes go. It's not chima, it's chimesa. And it's what it is a recording of the Toronto Transit Commission's subway chime.
Okay.
Okay. So we need somebody to say that at the appropriate moment.
Okay.
Do you think?
So I'm the guy.
No, you're not. I just thought I'd tell you that and build you up.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened.
You had me excited.
Yeah, I know. That's what.
Just so you had a heads up what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens when you're not talking to me on your good audio. I remember these things. No, we'll let you do it. We'll let you have a crack at it. So, count to 1,002, and then go ahead. Now the key is with other things on the show. The key to remember with this is there's no dancing, there's no singing, there's no kind of interpretation. We just need you to say with enthusiasm, subway chimes go.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, so count to 1,002 and then do it.
Subway chimes go.
So how did you like that one? How did you like that? How'd you like that show there, Kelly?
That was good. That was good.
Where did Brad go? Brad left the studio. He just walked right out.
On the fire situation.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he just walked right out of the studio.
Yeah.
He just stormed out and
halfway. I guess halfway. I wonder if it was halfway ththrough the Drayton Blackgrove Chris Wehman thing that we just listened to, and he thought, "Man, is this boring?" And he just walked out of the studio. Wouldn't that be
That
embarrassing?
could be, but at least he wasn't watching NHL highlights.
Yeah, that's true. And how about Drayton Blackgrove's Subway Chimes Go? Kelly?
Oh, jeez.
I don't want to. It may become a permanent feature of the show.
Ooh,
That was the greatest Subway Chimes Go of all time. Oh, look at that. He's decided to rejoin us.
He put the
I
fire.
guess the fire pit's not that far away.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, man, that was.
She said she wanted to wait till I could come out with her.
Oh, she wants a romantic fire.
Romantic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, romantic with Brad, boy.
Wow, under the stars.
Yeah.
And we're celebrating the last day of school today too. So
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's
everybody
nice.
You got the bottle of Prosecco going, or you got some Spumante?
I saw a couple bottles of something in the fridge. So yeah, I didn't really look close enough. So yeah,
Bradley.
That's really nice. That's really nice the way our educators are nowadays. They can't wait to get the kids out of the school.
Yeah.
And hey, let's celebrate. They're gone. We're gone. They're gone. We don't have to.
Got 2 months away from.
Yeah, we don't have to try to make the future of this country great anymore. They're gone. We don't have to. We don't have to help these young people get through life. I'm just glad they're gone.
Oh boy. You do have the gift of exaggeration, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
We're having a couple of glasses of wine and a campfire. I'm not sure it rises to that.
I'm sorry, but maybe I misheard. And Kelly, you can help me here. But I thought he said he was celebrating the fact that school was over.
That's what it started.
Yeah,
out.
They're celebrating the last day of school.
That's like when your brother-in-law moves out, or you're like celebrating that your brother-in-law's gone.
That's why I asked him, did everybody pass?
Oh yeah, did everybody pass?
Everybody did not. No.
So now you're going to be watching over your shoulder all summer.
You know,
You don't have to do summer school now, do you, Brad?
I could if I wanted to, but no, I don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you the one that didn't pass? To be honest.
Yeah. Every year that's the case. I'm the one who didn't. Yeah.
We got to take that multiple choice test soon. We got to get a little bit organized and see who all wants to take.
I have the Google Classroom set up, so all I need are email addresses, and anybody who wants to can get in there.
Okay,
so.
we should post it on the fans and let. Yeah. No. I don't want to.
You're taking it from the comfort of your own home, so you're on the honor system.
Not me, man. I'm doing it. I'm going to pick up the pattern, and I got to find one thing that I can latch on to. Like,
see, I knew Lionel wouldn't want to have it open book because it would be too much like paperwork.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He's much rather wants to find the pattern. So.
Yeah, I'm all about the pattern, man.
Do I get a handicap because I'm dyslexic?
I'll give you a curve, Kelly. Yeah, we call those accommodations, modifications and accommodations.
Exactly. Yeah. See, when we went to school, we didn't have. You're just be dyslexic.
No.
And
that's the way it was. It was like that when I was in school too.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. What's today? There was nothing. Oh, I got to tell you guys this story. This will be a great story. Should I tell you now, or should we wrap up this particular show? I think we should wrap up. You know what we did?
What's that?
Uh-oh.
I am truly an idiot.
Uh-oh.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
It's carried. Motion is carried.
Oh,
this is on
They've resolved that Lionel is an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. And
then what does that make us?
Yeah.
We're with him.
Isn't that line from Star Wars? Who's the bigger fool, the fool or the fool who follows him?
Yeah, exactly. You're sitting at the poker table and you can't figure out who the sucker is.
There's a good chance
surprise.
You can't figure it out. There's a good chance he's over there in the mirror, right?
Yeah. Look down at the table. Do you see any chips? This is on the free channel. So, I mean, we did the intro already, and that went past. Actually, I think in this particular show, we actually did say Rapido Trains a couple of times. So I think we can save it now.
Okay.
And I already said Rapido Trains, and I got nothing.
Yeah, but you're kept on.
I know. You were right. You did it properly.
You didn't leave me the space.
No,
there.
I didn't. Yeah.
If you just said Rapido Trains, I would have hopped right in there.
Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
I was talking to our little buddy Lauren there yesterday. He sold like 700 or 800 sets of those GP9 RMs or something.
Oh, with the slugs?
Yeah.
That's great.
Those are a wildly popular thing.
Yeah, they are. I think they'd be even more popular. I mean, it's got to be a limited Canadian market. I mean, I guess they did appear in the United States some places.
Well, there's lots of railroads had slugs and things like that. So a little repainting, it may not be exact. And Jason has not Jason. Jason was on with Bernard in Georgia the other night talking about. They said they're planning to do some U.S. road names on them.
Oh, okay, cool.
Both big Canadian roads used to come through here a lot. They had trackage rights over the Buffalo line, so we saw Canadian National and Canadian Pacific all the time.
How far are you from the Buffalo line, Brad?
The Buffalo line is like 2 miles from here.
Time out.
Can you push your microphone away, Lionel?
Is it too loud?
No, I don't think you're on it. Push it away further.
Of course.
And talk.
How about now?
No. He doesn't sound like he usually sounds.
Yeah.
So we got an intro that's
that melodious baritone voice just wasn't coming through like it usually does.
How about now?
There it is. There it is.
Right in the middle of the show.
That
seriously.
Is why we gave up on mic checks.
Yeah, that's right. See, check. See, there you go.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, I'm about 2 miles from the Buffalo line. To answer your question.
We'll come back to that because that's an interesting topic. But let's first let's go to 10 years, literally 10 years almost, and this is the best we can do.
At least we're consistent.
Yeah,
it's only been a year and a half for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Has it even been that?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I'm a bigger screw up than everybody else here because.
Well, we're all experienced that and just kind of play along where you're too excited.
Moly,
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I should have a checklist, but I hate checklists.
Yeah.
It's paperwork once again.
I'm an idiot. I really am. I mean, I'm just literally an idiot.
Well, we took a vote on that earlier.
Yeah, that's true. I know we've all agreed. So
we've all agreed. So.
There were no dissenting votes.
Not a single. Yeah. Could one of you have gone? No, I don't agree with that. No.
I didn't want to hurt your feelings. You know?
Well, this takes me back to people would be a lot happier if they just thought of me as their dim-witted brother.
There you go.
Then they wouldn't expect much.
Dim-witted but lovable, right?
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rapido trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
If it's N, if it's H-O, the fast track is Rapido.
I bet you on none of the other podcasts they admit how bad they are at it. But now that they've heard us say it, that'll be their next shtick. We're so bad at this.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
We're worse at this than Lionel Strang is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez. We're so bad, we're good.
Yeah, there you go. Let's try that with the Toronto Maple Leafs. No.
Yeah.
All right.
They gotta stop hiring bow-legged goldies. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I thought of something else funny about them today, and I can't remember what that was. All right. Anyways, let's Kelly, can you give out the email address?
Oh wow, email.
Sorry, did we wake
up? If you would put
I wasn't even
take that sticker off the end of your microphone and put it over the top of it. Yeah, like that. Now but stick it down.
Well,
we'll wrap it around.
Oh, wrap it this way?
Yeah, that would look perfect.
Well, how about if I do this one?
Oh, what does that say? We can't.
It says Rapido, I think, doesn't it? Yeah. There was a glare on it, but
did they pay for your microphone?
They advertise. They have probably a.
You can't even put a sticker on.
I had to.
Just stick it on your forehead for now.
I had about 5 of them on here.
Just stick it on your forehead for now.
Do you ever? Okay, you need me to send you some?
No, I got plenty of stickers.
All right, well then just put a sticker.
There you go.
That looks good.
A Bloomfield, isn't it?
You know, I turned your camera off hours ago.
Yes.
Yeah, the Broomfield. I turned your camera off hours ago.
Oh.
So give out our email address.
Our email address, if you want to reach us, both conservative, constructive criticisms included, is modellerslife@gmail.com. That's modeler with one L, like, oh, geez, one L.
G says no.
Yeah,
I know.
one L, one L like Blackgrove.
Oh, yeah, Blackgrove, and not two L's like Kelly.
There you go.
Or you could have gone with one L like Line and not two L's like Buffalo.
Ooh,
wow, yeah,
that's a good.
You know what? On tomorrow's show for the Patreon members, when we're or no, it's not tomorrow's show. Last week's show. You can finish talking about the Buffalo line.
Okay.
And I actually have a list. Look at I can't even follow the list. I actually have a comprehensive list of all the shows until July 15th. And I can't even I can't even let you guys see the list. We're doing this intro and outro for the third show we got to do, and then oh man, I'm an idiot. I'm your dim-witted brother. That's what I am. All right. If this is on the free channel, so if you enjoyed this particular podcast, and we can't imagine other than Drayton and Chris and those guys,
the body of the podcast is probably stellar.
The guest was great. Chris Wehman was great.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly was a little rough.
Yeah. Park.
Brad stormed out to set a fire.
Yeah.
I set the front porch on fire. So yeah.
And Brad's just happy he doesn't have to be an educator and lead his country to greater things.
Yeah, for summer.
Hey kids, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
They weren't even here today. It was an in-service day.
An in-service day? What's in-service mean?
They clean their locker. They clean their desk out.
Clean up the room. Put all the lab equipment away.
So when was
the books and stuff?
When was their actual last? The students. When's their actual last day? Is it come and gone already?
Yes, yesterday was their last day. Yes.
Okay.
And that was just only for final exam makeup. So if any kids who had completed all of their final exams didn't even have to come in. So it was a pretty empty building yesterday too.
Are final exams mandatory?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, see, I screwed that up.
I don't think it's mandatory for every school, but our school board has made that policy, so we have to give them, yes.
Yeah, I screwed that up for your kids.
Wow.
Back in the 70s, I
thought my school was always you had to take exams.
No, I'll tell you that. You know what? I'll tell you that story last week.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
when we did the introduction for Eric Hansman, that's when I told you the story.
Mm.
All right. So if you enjoyed this particular podcast and you didn't catch the email address, if you go to our website, amodellerslife.com, and scroll down just a little bit, you'll see a picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state. I think what's throwing me off here is I'm enjoying having the camera on, and it's not working. I'm so busy looking at Kelly's stickers on his microphone.
It's not on there.
It was.
Well, but it was. It was disconcerting.
Well, they're gone now.
Was it throwing you off your game?
Yeah, it was throwing me off my game. It's like
I'll turn my camera off.
It's like having somebody out in center field flashing big cards and stuff.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Anyways, you'll see the picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state. All you got to do is click on that picture and boom, you're off to the races. And if you like this podcast, and we can't possibly, well, like we said, Drayton was great and Chris was great. But if you would like to hear more podcasting, if you go to our Patreon channel and sign up for that for just a few cents a day, you can have twice as much podcasting a week. And then if you go to the second tier, the T-shirt tier, you can play in the game, Hey Dude, Where's My Shirt?
Mm.
And it is a fun game to play.
It's sweeping the nation.
Sweeping the
globe. Sweeping the globe.
Sweeping the globe.
There's an Australian division of that. There's an Australian distribution center, I've heard.
There is, yeah.
Big building out in the middle of Australia.
Out in the middle of the outback, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right now. Yeah, right dead smack in the middle of Australia. Our buddy Nigel Garshore. Oh, that's what it was. Nigel Garshore. It's GARTSHORE, which I'm assuming is pronounced Garshore. But then I thought to myself, I wonder if the T is silent, and it'd be Garshore. And then I thought, well, if the T isn't silent, why don't we tell him it should be silent?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm on board with that.
Sorry,
All
humor. RR.
Yeah. Well, kind of humor, and kind of would make it easier to pronounce his name. And then
Nigel?
No, Garshore.
Oh,
The T is silent.
I see.
That's it. Let's leave because this is just a mess. Kelly,
All right.
I think you're going to have to do the official exit because I don't think we have it on for this show.
Okay.
Well, Kelly, as the sun slowly sets over the back 40 and we close the barn doors, I guess there's nothing else left to do except for you to say,
Happy rails to you.
While in Busted Knuckle, guests of a Modeler's Life podcast stay at the Casa del Sol Motor Court and Inn, where late-night dancing at the Rumba Room is a magical event to be experienced.
It's another Lincoln Homer.